How ill do you think alcohol can make you? How poorly? How depressed? How anxious? And how desperate? It's absolutely horrendous how you feel when you get to rock bottom. Because rock bottom to me was not having my bed sheets cleaned for months, having rats in the apartment, not eating, feeling like I was going to die every day. I didn't know what to do. I felt totally helpless. And my life had become torture. And I used to think, it's all my fault really. I should have seen the warning signs before. Now I started drinking in my late teens, well, mid to late teens. But I quickly developed quite a tolerance for beers and lagers, Guinness, that sort of thing. I was always told, you'll be fine, as long as you don't touch the spirits. I don't know why people tell you that, because it's nonsense really. That was the old fashioned way when I was young and crazy. And I became a regular drinker. By that I mean, most nights I have a couple of pints. I was never one to stay in the house as a child. I was either out fishing, in the YMCA, I went to a training corps, I was in the chess club, I used to play table tennis, I used to play tennis, I used to go fishing, all sorts of things. I didn't like being in the house. There wasn't anything wrong with my childhood. I like to be out. I still like to be out. I'm out a lot. And I travel quite a bit now because I'm healthy. But I never felt normal. I never felt as if I could just do a job for 25, 30 years and that would be it. But I was steered into a career by my parents into electronic engineering. At 16, like an apprenticeship type thing, where you do a qualification, got an HNC or something. I only did that because I could cram information. I wanted to stay on, but they didn't want that. However, after 4 years of that, I met a girl and went to Italy, and I thought, I love her over here. I'm not going back to that crazy place. I just packed the job in the UK, and my parents were not too pleased. I returned, and then I set up a market stall, did all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And then a friend of mine joined the police force then, not service then, in Northumberland. I thought, oh, that seems quite good. My dad was already in the police, but I hated the police. We used to live in police houses. So I thought I'll go for the big time. And I joined the Met Police eventually, and I worked in South London. And I met a lot of seasoned drinkers. I was 21. Most of the guys I worked with were older. More experienced in life, in the job, and very importantly to me, in drinking. I latched onto that very quickly. And I found myself, after every late turn, finishing at 10:30 going for a drink. Most early turns finishing at 2:30 going for a drink. And sometimes, the odd occasion, we used to get a train up to the early opening bars in Borough Market at 6:30 in the morning, have a few drinks. Because to me, and to us, and the other people in the pub, there's all sorts of people in there, pilots and nurses and doctors. We'd been on night duty. So that morning was our evening, if that makes sense. But people were horrified when you went to Tesco's at 8 o'clock for some bacon and eggs and you were stinking of drink. So it progressed from there. Then I got promoted in my 20s quite young really into the West End, and I made the choice to go to the West End because I knew there was lots of activity there. Don't read too much into that, but you understand what I mean. And I ended up going to West End Central, which is based on Savile Row. What a place to work, Savile Row. From a small market town in Northumberland, I was now in Savile Row, West 1, Mayfair, in London, as a very young police sergeant. And that was Disneyland to me. I loved it. But also loved the social life. And that led me down a horrendous road of alcohol addiction in the end. I was married then, but I didn't have any children. So I cracked on with that. The job, I loved it. Life was good. Double income, no kids. A few domestic issues, but that's another story. I was on the underground line, so I didn't have to drive in. I rarely had to drive police cars, because maybe foot patrol in central London. I was never drinking on duty, but I still felt hungover at times, and I drank more and more. It's just the habit became more of an addiction, I suppose. And then I did the inspector's exam, did a bit of acting inspector and this sort of thing. But always in the same area, West End. Home life was falling apart really, but I managed to hold on to it. A whole lot of work and things. I was functioning alcoholic, I think. And I did okay. But I knew I was drinking too much. When my daughter came along, it was more responsibility. I didn't have the downtime then. Shall we say the recovery time, as you do when you've got no children. So I became more and more tired, and I used to drink to get over the tiredness, if that makes sense. But that doesn't work, it just makes you more tired. So you're working shifts, big mortgage, a child, not very good domestic setup. What are you going to do? Drink. Drink to just take the pain away. The job wasn't stressful, I didn't find it stressful. It was long hours, it was tiring. But I used to like a drink, I used to enjoy it, and my days off used to be full of drink. And I enjoyed the summers down there. Compared to the Northumberland coast, the summers in Essex, where I lived in Epping Forest, were fantastic. I've been on holiday all the time. You know, sunshine, sit outside the bars, and drink just caught up with me. And retired from the police, and I returned to the North East, which was a bad decision. Got divorced. I was living on my own. And that's when I started to drink really, really quickly. When I started to become more addicted and felt ill really, really quickly. And I was living with rats, with no heating, no water. I went down just over 9 stone in weight, I was malnourished. And all this happened very quickly. I had time off the drink, but I'd gone back on it. And every time you're off and you go back on it, it's worse. And then 2019 came along, and I was really, really ill. A huge hernia, a massive stomach which was hard to the touch, and I found out I had ascites, fluid, and spontaneous bacterial peritonitis. I was diagnosed with decompensated liver cirrhosis, and that time was just when COVID kicked in. And I was really, really poorly. I used to try and get out of bed, I just couldn't get out of bed. I was in the hospital a couple of weeks, and I moved in with my parents, not good. At age 57, went with elderly parents. I used to use their stair lift, sometimes I didn't get out of bed for days. I was in the hospital all the time, and I did think I was going to die. Every day I thought I was going to die. I got the operations, and I used to go into the operating theatre with the anaesthetists, and just, as soon as I put the fluid, whatever it's called, the anaesthetic in your arm, I used to pray and pray a little bit and say, well, goodbye world. That's how bad I was. That's how ill I was. That's how ill I felt, how depressed I was. And then, miraculously, they did a couple of little procedures on me, and things started to improve. After my dad died, I thought I would get strong now. And I became stronger at the end of 2021. And then everything just bolted on after that, and I felt I'm getting a little bit stronger, put some weight on, moved into another flat, and I was on my own. I enjoyed that for a little while. I got stronger and stronger by keeping off the booze. I was going to see the consultant every month, and she said you're getting better. Then it was every 2 months, it was every 3 months, and now it's every 6 months just for a check. She said, if somebody told me in 2019 that you'd get back to this level of health, I would have questioned it. And at the end of 2023, I met a wonderful lady who is now my fiance, and everything's gone really well. But if you have any of the warning signs of slipping from hangover to withdrawal, any pains, any spurious blood tests, you're coughing up blood, you're coughing up phlegm in the morning, or coughing up bile, yellow bile, things aren't working for you. You'll know yourself when you feel ill. But to get to the point that I did, please don't get that far. Get some help. Give me a shot. I do one-to-one mentoring and support. And I'm here to help you. And I want to help you because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through. Absolutely horrendous. There are lots of subscribers on the air, nearly 13,000 now. They're all good people. They'll give you advice as well. So I want you to take this away with you. It's a warning. It will kill you if you're not careful. I was very, 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 very lucky. I'm very lucky to be here. If you benefit from the channel, please subscribe. I've got an ebook out as well. I'll put all the links in the description. And I wish you all the best. And text me on the number that I provide, and I'll see what I can do for you. Speak soon.